The train glides quietly through the Scottish Highlands. Outside the window, mist hangs low over rolling green hills. Ancient castles sit alone beside dark lochs. Tiny villages appear for a moment, then disappear into the fog behind us. Inside, everything feels warm. Soft golden lamps glow against polished wood walls. Crystal glasses clink gently in the distance. Somewhere farther down the carriage, someone laughs over a glass of whiskey while a pianist plays softly beneath the sound of the rails. For the next 4 nights, this train will be home. Welcome aboard the Royal Scotsman, one of the most luxurious trains in the world. Operated by Belmond, the same company behind the legendary Orient Express, the Royal Scotsman offers something entirely different. A slow, elegant journey through the heart of Scotland. Not just transportation, an experience. A moving country estate wrapped in tartan, whiskey, candlelight, and Highland scenery. And this week's route might be the most Scottish journey imaginable. Because this isn't simply a luxury train ride. It's the malt whiskey journey. Every day, the train stops at historic distilleries hidden throughout the Highlands. Places where whiskey has been crafted for generations. Copper stills, oak barrels, smoke, fire, time. A journey through Scotland. One dram at a time. The adventure begins in Edinburgh. Bagpipes echo across the station platform as guests arrive beside the deep maroon carriages of the Royal Scotsman. Staff members in traditional tartan uniforms greet everyone by name, whisking luggage away almost before it touches the platform. And then suddenly, you step inside. The noise of the station disappears. Everything slows down. The interiors feel less like a train and more like an old Scottish manor house. Mahogany walls, velvet furniture, brass details catching the afternoon light. Everywhere you look, there's another small detail that feels carefully considered. Even the corridors feel cinematic. Narrow, quiet, softly lit, like stepping into another era. The cabins are cozy but impossibly elegant. Tartans draped across the beds. Fresh flowers. Warm lighting. A tiny private bathroom somehow fitted perfectly into the carriage. And outside the window, Scotland's slowly beginning to move. The strange thing about luxury trains is that they change your relationship with time. There's nowhere to rush to. No security lines. No traffic. No notifications demanding attention. Just movement. Slow movement. The kind that allows you to actually notice the world outside. As the train leaves Edinburgh behind, the landscape transforms almost immediately. Cities fade into open countryside. Hills become mountains. Forests stretch endlessly into the distance. The highlands begin to unfold. And somehow, every single window feels like a painting. Lunch is served in one of the dining cars. White tablecloths, polished silverware, crystal glasses gently rattling with the movement of the train. Conversations stay soft here. Nobody wants to interrupt the atmosphere. And then the food arrives. Fresh Scottish salmon, warm soup, locally sourced vegetables, perfectly cooked beef. Every meal somehow feels impossible for a moving train kitchen to produce. Yet course after course arrives like something from a Michelin-starred restaurant. Outside the window, sheep graze quietly beneath massive gray mountains. Inside, someone pours another whiskey. And that rhythm becomes the heartbeat of the trip. Scenery, whiskey, stories, scenery again. The first distillery stop feels almost surreal. It's barely 10 in the morning, yet everyone is already holding a glass of scotch. Copper stills tower overhead as guides walk guests through centuries-old whiskey-making traditions. The smell inside the distillery is unforgettable. Warm grain, oak, smoke, and something sweet lingering in the air. Barley arrives by the ton. Water flows down from Highland Springs. And time does the rest. Some whiskeys inside these barrels have been aging for decades. Longer than some guests on the train have been alive. And that's part of what makes Scotch feel different. You aren't just tasting alcohol. You're tasting patience, history, craftsmanship. One glass might hold whiskey aged for 25 years. Another for 40. A liquid that spent nearly half a century waiting quietly in darkness before reaching this moment. Back on the train, the observation car quickly becomes everyone's favorite place. It sits at the rear of the train with huge windows wrapping around the lounge. Plush armchairs face outward toward the Highlands, rolling endlessly behind the tracks. At the very back, an open-air veranda lets you stand outside while the train moves. Cold Highland wind rushes past. The smell of rain and pine trees fills the air. And suddenly the Scottish landscape doesn't feel like scenery anymore. It feels alive. The train slows often. Not because it has to, because it wants you to see everything. Lochs reflecting the evening sky. Tiny villages glowing in the distance. Stone bridges older than entire countries. And mountains that seem to disappear directly into the clouds. By sunset, the Highlands become something entirely different. Golden light spills across valleys. The sky turns pink and orange behind distant hills. And inside the observation car, someone begins playing traditional Scottish music. Fiddles, bagpipes, old folk songs sung by voices thick with Scottish accents. Somewhere between the whiskey and the music and the moving landscape, the line between travel and dream begins to blur. Even the nights aboard the Royal Scotsman feel different. Unlike most trains, it doesn't rush through darkness while everyone sleeps. Instead, the train stops overnight in quiet stations across the Highlands. You wake up completely still. No rattling tracks. No engine noise. Just silence. Then slowly, morning light spills through the curtains. A steward knocks gently on the cabin door. Coffee arrives. And outside the window, mist drifts across the Scottish countryside. Every day somehow feels even more beautiful than the last. One afternoon might include clay pigeon shooting on a countryside estate. The next could involve visiting Highland cattle standing in fields beneath gray skies. Then another whiskey tasting. Another extraordinary dinner. Another evening of music inside the observation car. And through it all, the train itself becomes part of the story. Not just transportation. A character. The polished wood corridors. The tiny swaying lamps. The soft sound of glasses clinking during dinner. The way the train curves gently through mountain passes. The way strangers slowly become friends over shared bottles of whiskey. Luxury on the Royal Scotsman isn't loud. It's quiet, confident, thoughtful. The kind of luxury that feels more emotional than extravagant. And maybe that's why people fall so deeply in love with this train. Because yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, the service is extraordinary. But what really makes the Royal Scotsman unforgettable is the feeling it creates. A feeling that the modern world has somehow faded away. That time has slowed down. That life has become simpler, warmer, more human. For a few days, your entire world becomes incredibly small. Just the train, the Highlands, the people beside you. And somehow, that small world feels bigger than anything else. On the final morning, the train slowly begins its return toward Edinburgh. Suitcases reappear in the corridors. Guests linger longer over breakfast. Nobody seems ready for it to end. Outside the window, Scotland offers one last performance. Rolling green hills. Stone cottages. Fog drifting across distant mountains. Then finally, the famous Forth Bridge appears ahead. Towering red steel stretching across the water like something from another century. The city slowly returns. Roads. Buildings. Phones reconnecting to signal. Reality creeping back in. And then, almost too soon, the train pulls gently into the station. The journey is over. Staff line the platform saying goodbye one final time. Bagpipes play again in the distance. Guests step off slowly, almost reluctantly. Because somewhere between the whiskey tastings, the candlelit dinners, the Highland sunsets, and the endless rhythm of the rails, the Royal Scotsman stopped feeling like a train, and started feeling like another world entirely. And if luxury, design, architecture, and extraordinary experiences inspire you, welcome to Owro, a place where timeless elegance meets cinematic storytelling. From iconic estates and luxury trains, to hidden destinations and remarkable craftsmanship around the world, this is more than a channel. It's a world of luxury, beautifully explored. Subscribe to and join us for the next journey.